Welcome to First Person Defender. Real people put into realistic self-defense training scenarios.
These are real scenarios.
Hey, give me your money.
The role player does not know what's going to happen. We go through the first scenario, see how they handle it, and then we pick one thing that they could have done to increase their survivability, train it a little bit, and then run them through a similar scenario.
Each weapon is loaded with Simunition FX marking cartridges, the most realistic, non-lethal alternative to live ammunition. Simunition is the closest thing to the real deal.
Once you feel the pain penalty once, you don't want to feel it again.
For this type of force-on-force training, role players are required to wear protective gear.
Come on, hit me.
It is as real as it gets. Heart rate's elevated, their respiratory rate's elevated, their adrenaline is dumping into their blood. They are scared and amped up.
I got a gun! Back off!
Get out of my house!
My name's Ryan Gresham. I'm a producer on First Person Defender. I do carry every day. I'm a shooter. They're going to put me in this situation today, so I'm going to be part of the show.
We've known Ryan for a long time, and we haven't had a chance to really mess with him on camera. We mess with him off camera all the time, so this will be our opportunity to actually get the footage of it and see how he can handle it.
Ryan's taking part in the carjacking scenario.
I know today is about driving, and I don't know exactly what we're going to do. I'm sure they're going to want to mess with me.
He's got a nice Toyota pickup truck, so we're going to take it from him.
Greg and Ryan reviewed the safety procedures and then prepared for the scenario.
For a lot of people, they spend a ton of time in their cars, and it can be a point of vulnerability. You're going all kinds of different places. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
All right, so what are we going to do exactly?
I think we're gonna stop short, box them in.
He gets boxed in at a stop sign, stop light, which is a very common occurrence.
I'm gonna get out and take his truck.
Usually they start with maybe a bump, maybe makes you get out of your vehicle to go inspect the damage, and then they take your vehicle.
Destin and Greg are pretty crafty, so I'm not really sure exactly what they're going to come up with.
We're not going to bump his vehicle per se. We don't want to have insurance involved on this. So we'll come up here, stop. Once I stop, that'll be the signal.
Yep.
We're just going to get a good feel on how his ability to manage and deal with stress.
The Ruger LC380 is the perfect pairing of the award-winning LC9 pistol and the popular 380 auto cartridge. It features a dovetailed high-visibility 3-dot sight system, 7-round magazine, and finger grip extension floor plate. The Ruger LC380, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
Para Black Ops, the baddest tactical 1911 on the planet.
The biggest thing people need to worry about while they're driving is just the same exact stuff they need to worry about every other day of their life doing everything else is situational awareness.
When I'm driving, I try to be aware of my surroundings, and I lock my doors and usually keep my windows rolled up. But I think like a lot of people, you get distracted. You're at a stoplight, you take the opportunity to check your phone, your email, your Facebook, whatever.
Your hands and eyes and your feet do all the driving, but your brain's in 10 other places. So it's really important that you don't crank that volume up and be on the cell phone and drink your coffee and have your mind outside of everything but the task that you're doing.
They're looking 10 feet in front of the vehicle rather than having their eyes up and looking around. And that vehicle is just a method of transportation for them rather than being something where people lose their lives every day.
Get out of the car!
I saw him reaching for someone, I saw him bring a gun up, and I decided to engage him.
Get out of the car!
And I had nice, clear upper thoracic cavity shots on him because he was sitting there in his seat. So rather than getting shot myself, I decided as the bad guy, I was gonna shoot him.
Well, good thing you got that bulletproof glass there, huh?
And you know, I obviously engaged the windshield, Simunitions, but in real world, those rounds are gonna zip right through and hit him true.
Keep in mind, if you're pinned in traffic and there's a bad guy in front of your car in between two cars, what's your first weapon? This trusty
Big piece of steel.
skinny pedal on the right, step on it hard, you know, and that's your first weapon always is the vehicle you're in. You're still in drive.
But if the encounter goes to guns, there are ways to more effectively address a threat.
There's a couple other ways we can do things and how to get out of the seatbelt.
We're going to teach them different techniques to actually get behind the seatbelt to get out of it faster.
We'll go to the range. We'll do some live fire shooting. We'll wipe this paint off your pretty windshield, and then we'll try it again.
All right.
Cool.
All right, so, you know, a couple things, obviously driving in the city.
Right.
Buckled up. When people try to frantically get out of a vehicle, they undo their seatbelt in a normal way, right? This shoulder's still through the seatbelt, and as I get out, I get hung up on that seatbelt. So instead of undoing the seatbelt with this is my gun hand. My primary function needs to be, if needed, going to my gun and drawing my weapon.
Okay.
So I still want to be able to get out of this seatbelt. So what I do is I slap my chest basically and fish my hand under my seatbelt.
Okay.
As I do that, I use that hand to disengage. And now look, it's not caught on my shoulder. I can get out of the vehicle and not worry about getting hung up.
When Greg showed me how to swim the seatbelt, I had never tried that before, but now I think what I'm going to try to do is get out of the car that way every time. So if anything does ever come up, it's natural for me to get out of the seatbelt that way.
Another important thing when we're talking about working in a vehicle is not muzzle sweeping your own body parts. It's a dangerous thing whenever we're sitting down and drawing our weapon, because now we have our upper legs exposed out in front of our body, and people tend to want to muzzle sweep that. So what we do is, as I go for my gun and I fish out of this belt, I undo this, I come straight up, and I basically fly the gun over, tracing across my steering wheel, and leveling it in an L shape over my legs, and then I can go ahead and drive the gun out from this A pillar. All right? Now, if I'm inside my vehicle, there's a couple of things. One, we already know this doesn't afford us any protection.
Right.
But what may afford us some protection is all what's underneath here. Not the dashboard specifically, but what's in front of it.
Yeah, you got an engine block. That's all good stuff.
Exactly. You got engine block. We know rounds ricochet off of hoods pretty drastically.
Yeah.
If I see a threat coming up and they've already got a gun presented, I may want to go ahead. I can even use this to kind of shrink back.
Okay.
Now look how low I am.
Yeah.
I'm not offering a target. I can swim out of that seatbelt, draw that weapon, stay low, and then lean up using this A-pillar and the majority of the engine and the hood as cover and concealment.
Okay.
After going over the considerations for shooting from a vehicle, Greg demonstrates how the drill will run.
All right, Ryan, so simulating we're in our vehicle, you know, hands on the wheel, doors closed. All of a sudden our steel target out there is the bad guy. You know, he's coming up, whatever, maybe he's brandishing a firearm, road rage, baseball bat, crowbar. Hey, I'm getting out, it's all right, I'm getting out. Man, you can kick that door open and prep it with your foot.
Okay.
All right, as this, I'm getting out of my seatbelt. Swim out of your seatbelt, draw your pistol, trace over that steering wheel, stay nice and low in case he does get hanky and wants to start shooting, and then drive out from the A-pillar. Get hits on your target. Hopefully he's down, shoot him to the ground. If you need to go ahead and even just put your gun in the seat and drive out of there. If you feel it's more important to get out of the vehicle, throw it in park, get out of the vehicle.
Now it's time for Ryan to give it a run.
Let's start hands on the steering wheel like you're driving.
Okay.
All of a sudden this jerk in front of you stops short. Road rage, whatever, he gets out of his vehicle. Yep, you going ahead, you're opening the door, you're getting out of the vehicle, you're swimming out. Lazy L. Nice, he's down. We're scanning, making sure no one else is getting out of his vehicle. He doesn't have any accomplices. Or you're like, hey, I'm gonna get out of here, and then call the cops. Holster back up. Close that door. And then you run over them to add insult to injury.
Back over, then forward, then reverse, forward and reverse.
Exactly.
Nosler Defense ammunition is loaded up front with the bonded performance line of bonded core defense bullets. Professionals trust their next move to Nosler Defense.
When the bond between hand and gun feels as true as a perfectly placed shot, it's not by accident, it's by design. M&P, advanced by design.
First Person Defender, brought to you by Ruger Firearms, Smith & Wesson, Nosler, Crimson Trace, Simunition, and Remington.
All right, so this next run, you gave Ryan some lessons. You kind of taught him a little too much, I think.
I think I did too.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, we have a pistol stage and everything.
On this scenario, we mix it up a little bit for him. It's gonna be very similar. There's only so many ways that we can do this. We're having a road rage incident. He's been following you too close.
He's following me closely, and he's kind of an asshole.
Maybe I'll just run Greg over.
You're pretty pissed off. You're having a bad day.
Yeah.
You'll stop abruptly and exit the vehicle, and let's see how he handles it. There's a good chance that you're gonna get shot.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah.
If he does something wrong, I'm gonna start shooting at him and he's gonna start shooting at me.
All right, let's do it. Go get some.
Let's see what this guy, why is he following me so closely? Hey man, why you follow me? What, you want to do something? Why you following me?
It's cool.
Get back in your car. Get back in your car. Dude, I will shoot you.
I fully intended on banging it out with him.
Get back in your car.
But he had the muzzle right up on me. I could see the laser from his gun. But the biggest thing was I didn't have much of a target to shoot at. Well, he had the upper hand, so I walked away.
He's got a gun. He had a gun.
Of course you had a gun.
He pointed at me.
He pointed it
with the
twice.
beam.
Once I got the gun out and on target, he told me he saw the laser, he knew he had no chance, and it was game over.
I was thinking about shooting you.
I know you were.
I didn't have to shoot, and that's great. I mean, anytime you can avoid having to shoot in a self-defense scenario, that's good.
The best gunfight to have is the one that you don't have to get into.
You know, I saw the laser. You were driven out, aimed in right at me.
And obviously that technique allowed him to walk away from that simulated gunfight.
I tell you what, being in a car, there's a lot going on. You're driving, you've got your foot on the brake, you're trying to deal with your seatbelt. Getting a gun into a fight from a car is hard. I'm gonna be really alert and aware of how to do it, and I feel like I have another tool to do that with.
The proper training and the proper tactics and techniques can mean the difference between life and death.
You did a good job, and I think it worked out for you.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks
job,
for putting
man.
me through the ringer.
Thanks for not shooting me.
Yeah, well, you know, live to fight another day.
Next time, yeah, exactly.